What's up, guys? It's Chad with Living the Van Life out here in Moab, Utah. And for those of you that have been following the channel here recently, you've seen the videos where I've been out exploring some of this amazing backcountry and landscape that Moab has to offer. Now, one of my favorite things about coming into Moab is watching all the different vehicles that roll through town. Anywhere from the big, epic rock crawler Jeeps all the way to some very capable overlanding machines, and it just runs the gamut. So it's one of my favorite things about coming to Moab. Recently, I have met up with Tom and Caitlyn Morton of Mortons On The Move. Now, they are some fellow YouTubers and people that have developed their lifestyle to work on the road. And I originally found their content when they were on an epic adventure up into Alaska, so you guys definitely got to go check out their YouTube channel. They got a lot of cool content from their life on the road. But today, we're gonna check out their new rig that they have just set up and built and adapted to their lifestyle. And I gotta say, this thing is one heck of a rig. So I'm actually pretty excited to show you guys the details. We're gonna have Tom and Caitlyn show us around their rig and tell us all how they have set it up and adapt it so that they can make their lifestyle work out here on the road.
My name is Tom Morton. I travel with my wife Caitlyn. We have an online platform called Mortons On The Move, which is our YouTube channel and website. We've been on the road for 7 years now. We've primarily been in RVs, but recently we've started to get, I guess this is still an RV, but it's kind of more of like the off-road capable, get out there, explore the in-between kind of a vehicle. We started out with a full-size 41-foot toy hauler fifth wheel. We took some motorcycles, a paramotor with us, and we quickly learned that was just so big that we couldn't get to the spots that we wanted to go. So we downsized to a 32-foot fifth wheel, and we traveled the country. We went all over the continental US in that. But then a couple years ago, we took a truck camper on a Ford F-350 all the way up to Alaska and the Arctic Ocean, and we really started to fall in love with living in a smaller, more capable four-wheel drive vehicle. So we kind of learned a lot from that trip, and from there we decided that we really wanted to build out kind of our dream truck camper, if you will, to enable us to have those adventures and even more and be comfortable along the way. Well, the truck is a Dodge Ram 5500. It's a 2011 truck, and the truck was originally a service body truck, which meant that it's a flatbed. So it wasn't a traditional pickup at all. And we designed it specifically to carry this truck camper. And the reason that we went with a large truck, bigger than a 1-ton truck, is that you quickly run into payload capacity issues with 1-ton trucks. And we wanted to be able to still have some of that suspension geometry that you need for being off-road and still be able to carry that weight. So that was kind of the concept behind it. But when you start looking at dually trucks, you run into off-road capable issues a lot. Dualies are not great off-road. You could pick up rocks between them. You're really wide in the back. So this truck's been what's called singled out. We actually had the axles converted to be able to run super single military tires on this vehicle, which not only give us the same weight capacity that you would have with the dually truck, but also give us significantly better off-road capabilities. So these tires are about a 42-inch tall military spec tire. They run on a 20-inch rim, which gives us more rubber to the ground over the 22.5-inch rim that I think comes standard on these trucks. The tire itself weighs close to 200 pounds. It's quite a beast, and it sits on what's called a beadlock rim, a true beadlock rim, enabling you to run much lower pressures with a heavy rig and still keep the tire on the rim. One more piece about the tires that is unique to what we built out here is that we are running Centermatic wheel balancers. These are basically automatic wheel balancers. When you're talking really big tires like this, you end up with balancing issues are really common with so much weight of these tires. Because they're so large, they will pick up rocks and stuff. You can have sort of balance issues. But basically what the Centermatic is a ring that sits just on the inside of the tire, and inside that ring is full of weights. What happens is that as the tire's rolling, those beads fling out into the ring, and they counter any weight misalignment of the tire itself. And that was something that we sort of had challenges with these tires, was getting them balanced. But the Centermatics have been a really good solution for that with such a large off-road tire. So this truck, being a service truck, it's really kind of falls into the commercial truck category to have that weight carrying capacity. And we could put this same camper on, say, a 1-ton truck, but it would limit us more so because we'd be right at the weight capacities of the truck, and it wouldn't have as much flexibility off-road. It wouldn't have the suspension geometry. It wouldn't be able to move the same. And we really kind of wanted to have the best of both worlds. We wanted a comfortable, large truck camper that gave us all the amenities that we're kind of used to. Particularly, it has a dry bath in it. My wife, Caitlyn, was adamant that we had a dry bath in our rig, and the campers just kept getting bigger and bigger. But I particularly wanted to still retain some of that off-road capability, so my truck concept had to keep getting bigger and bigger, and this is what we ended up with. As a whole, the entire build was kind of, I guess, thought around a similar concept to what you get with an EarthRoamer. But the cost of actually doing this is a lot less. You're looking at $500,000 to $1 million with an EarthRoamer, and something like this is a tenth the cost of that when we actually put it all together. So starting up front at the front of the truck, clearly the big oversized bumper is one of the first modifications this truck has. The bumper is from a company called Buckstop. They also made the suspension conversion that enabled the truck to be converted to the single rear wheel. The light bars are absolutely essential for having extra lighting for being off-road, getting in kind of those sticky situations, or even just a desolate road at night when you're just kind of out there in the middle of nowhere and you hit that light and it makes everything just that much safer and easier to see. So it's hard to have too much light on the front of your vehicle. Up here we've also got a winch that's built into the bumper. This is a 16,500 pound winch capacity. We have to have that larger capacity just because the vehicle is so much larger. This truck has the Cummins 6.7 liter turbo diesel engine in it. As you can see, it's way up there. This engine is something that I'm really familiar with. Our other truck has a 6.7 as well, and I really like the simplicity of this diesel engine. I wouldn't say that it's something that a lot of people can work on their own, but it's a really open concept engine, and being able to get at the internals is something that I really like about this particular engine. We're putting out a little over 400 horsepower here. I'm not exactly sure what the torque is, particularly because this truck is actually a manual. It's one of the last of its kind. They don't even make manual trucks in the 1-ton or 5500 series anymore. It also is 4-wheel and 4-wheel low capable, so it really enables it to just kind of crawl slowly, and there's so much torque that at idle she'll just walk up rocks really nicely, which really helps because as a manual you're really feathering the clutch a lot to kind of actually control it off-road. One of the first questions that people always ask us is, whoa, what kind of fuel economy do you get with that beast? The answer surprises a lot of people. I think it's better than you would expect. With the tuned engine, we can kind of like push it towards fuel economy, and when the truck is unloaded on the highway, we've seen anywhere between 14 and 17 miles per gallon. which I'd say isn't too bad for the size of this. And loaded with the truck camper, we see between 11 and 12 is pretty standard for this this build. The 5500, a lot of times you'll find these as just standard cab trucks, but we really wanted to have the extra cab for not only possibly having additional guests or people travel with us, but also we have a dog and she rides in the back seat. We've also designed the back of this truck to be additional storage capacity. So we put our tables, chairs, bike tires, things like that in the back. The seat in the back actually slides forward and back, so when we're just got the dog, she doesn't need legroom. So we slide that seat forward and she's got the seat, and we got all the storage behind it. When you're running a truck camper, a lot of times you don't have a lot of storage, so having that rear seat in the truck for more storage was something critical for what we wanted building this out. So here's the rear seat that has actually slid forward right now. All of this back here is storage. The camp chairs, the tires, everything goes back here. But the seat is actually powered, so all we have to do is just push this button and she can slide all the way back, so you can actually take passengers and they'll have leg room back here. When it's in this forward configuration, it can fold completely flat. So if we didn't have stuff back here, you can actually use it as a bed. So someone could be laying down back here while you're traveling. Moving back to the bed of the truck, this is a flatbed from Hillsboro on this particular vehicle. The major benefit that you get going with a flatbed is that you get all this additional storage on the side that you can put boxes and additional things, because truck campers are almost always designed to sit inside the bed rails of a traditional truck. So we went ahead and put storage boxes around the outside. These are just storage boxes that you can kind of get from anywhere. These are just like a Northern Tool brand, but they enable us to just keep a lot of stuff outside. This one carries things like our tripods, our pole saw, things like that are longer, are kind of stored in here. A lot of the service body trucks also have underbed boxes. We got all our tools down here. So we've got a dual cylinder gassed air compressor down here, and then we also have airbag controls. And it's just really convenient to have these storage boxes. They're super easy to access. Something that is really a selling point for truck campers for a lot of people is the fact that you can take them off. All we have to do is drop these jacks down and lift the camper just a little bit off the truck, and then the truck can just drive out from underneath the camper. If there is a particular situation where we want to kind of go explore off-road a little bit more and we're not comfortable taking our house, or we wouldn't need to, we can drop it and head off for an adventure. These jacks are electric and they extend down to the ground. They're currently down in just kind of a stabilizing position. What this enables us to do is just kind of drop the jacks. There's absolutely no rocking or movement when you're inside the camper. We had some really high winds recently, and putting these down, the camper doesn't rock around in the wind, so that's really nice. At the back of the coach here, the first thing you'll notice is the spare tire. The spare tire carrier itself is from a company called Roadmaster. It's designed for Class A motorhomes, so it's designed to carry really heavy, big tires, but it was also designed to just go into the receiver hitch in the back of a motorhome, and the receiver hitch is almost always in the center. But the problem with that is that it would end up blocking our door. We ended up working with a welder to basically weld on a whole new receiver portion back here. This spare tire carrier pivots down to the side, so there's a pin back there and a little safety thing. We remove that, and then we actually have a rope up top that we hook a block and tackle to, and then we just lower the tire down. It comes all the way down and just sits on the ground, and then we can just unbolt it from here and replace one of our tires if we need. The height of our camper is 12 foot even. That was a really big decision in what camper we actually put on this truck. We needed basically a shorter truck camper, and one that also didn't hang off the back and then drop down. Being the flatbed, we needed one that was flat all the way across the bottom so that we could shift it further forward on the bed. This camper stands about 8 feet tall. Once we put it on the flatbed, we were still able to retain a reasonable height. That was a big decision in this particular RV that we wanted to put on this truck, was making sure that it was gonna kind of be a reasonable height. We've also got 2 electric bikes on the back of the rig. These have been just so much fun. We've taken them all over the country. This was something that Caitlyn really wanted to be able to bring the bikes along. So figuring out a way to actually bring them was originally sort of a challenge. We were thinking, well, maybe we could put them on a rack on the back, but then it would have to swing out to get inside, or I could put them up front, but then you end up sort of obscuring your view a little bit and they're gonna get really, really dirty. So we ended up going with a spare tire bike rack carrier. We had to get one that was designed for oversized tires, clearly, so that it would fit on there properly. And then the rack over here actually hangs on the ladder. And this is the same rack that we had on our other truck camper that we took all the way to the Arctic Ocean. Now, these bikes are so much heavier than a traditional bike, so we went with 2 bike racks instead of putting them both on the same one so that we wouldn't overload either one of the capacities of those bike racks. The power system on this has been, was one of the very first things that we did, was we upgraded the power system. And this compartment was originally the battery compartment, and it housed 2 lead acid batteries. We completely sealed this off and actually removed that cabinet altogether, and it allowed us to access this compartment from inside the rig. So this door isn't really used for anything other than getting at our primary battery disconnect, which is right here. And you can see the primary batteries that we actually use in here. We use 2 of the Battleborn GC3 batteries. These are 270 amp hour batteries each. We put 2 of them in parallel together to operate the rig at 12 volts. On the other side in here, you'll be able to see from the inside, we have an inverter, and then all of our electronics that actually run and charge the batteries is located kind of above them up here. We have a little over 500 watts of solar on the roof of this and 3 charge controllers to run all those individual panels to create a relatively efficient solar system. And that's kind of one of our primary means of charge for this truck camper, but we also have a DC to DC converter that provides only 30 amps of charge off the truck, but it's another 300 watts or so as we're driving into the batteries whenever we fire up the truck. Besides the solar and charging off the truck while we drive, we do have a built-in 2500 watt propane generator, which is in this compartment right here. And that's just kind of a backup mostly. Usually our other charging sources tend to keep our batteries up well, but if we do run low on power, we can just push a button inside and within an hour usually raise our batteries up about 20% or so off of the generator. We work full-time from the road, so we really needed a lot of usable power. The traditional lead acid batteries that came in the coach are, I almost consider, just unusable these days. You don't have to worry about killing the batteries. The batteries are gonna last basically the life of the coach. I think that the power systems is actually one thing that has really enabled us to get off-grid easier and more so than ever in the past. For what we do, how we work on the road with our computers and our internet connections, we just couldn't have done it before, especially in a rig this small, because we would need so much weight in batteries, or we would be running this generator all the time. I feel like lithium batteries have just been a game changer for being able to really get out there and explore these places the way we like to. Well, I hope you enjoyed the exterior tour of the rig. I am going to pass it off to Caitlyn to go on and take you inside and take a look at what we've built it out inside, I guess.
So the camper is a year 2000 Bigfoot 3000 series camper. That's a pretty old camper, over 20 years old. We pretty much knew we were going to rip out a whole bunch of stuff in the truck camper and modify it to the way we wanted. And so we didn't want to buy a new rig and then just rip everything out of it. Remodeling everything inside with colors, modifications, changes in appliances. The other thing is we wanted to take this camper off-road a lot. We didn't want to be worried about it. You know, it's a 20-year-old camper. It's already been beat up a little bit. And so we weren't going to feel like, oh, we shouldn't scratch the side on that tree or anything like that. So it just really gave us a lot of comfort in taking this off without any worry. So come on inside and we'll show you around. Well, this is the renovated interior and it looks absolutely nothing like what it was when we got it. The walls had that like older wallpaper look to them. The cushions were like blue and had some weird patterns. There were valence boxes over all the windows that just really made it feel old and dated. And so we basically ripped all of that out and painted and refreshed everything that we could. And we went with this brighter, lighter look with some accent walls. We wanted to kind of go with like a ocean vibe in here. Also really wanted to update the countertops. We just completely covered them. This is a custom design that we made ourselves, which was really cool and completely changed the look here. We updated the sink, we updated the faucet. This is a touch faucet, which is really great for boondocking off grid because we're able to set the flow rate and temperature and just touch on and off really fast to save water. This camper does have 36 gallons of fresh in it, so we are able to be off grid for about a week before we have to refresh resources. This one here is a drinking water faucet. We have an Activa UV and sediment filter under the counter that is sanitizing and filtering the drinking water, so we drink right out of our tank. Over here we went with just some sliding blackout curtains. This dinette got the epoxy treatment as well. And then we updated the cushions, just completely got new ones. These ones are from a company called Rec Pro. We actually ended up leaving the original wood on these cabinets, which was really nice because I was not looking forward to painting that. That was really nice to not have to deal with that, but we have a lot of storage up above here. This is where we have our food. We've got storage underneath the benches, and this one has a storage spot underneath the seat. We've got more storage up here for all of our plates and cups and stuff, drawers and garbage under here. All of the batteries and inverter and electronics are actually underneath this sink. So we ripped out the old sink and we were able to work down into that cabinet. So it actually worked out really well that we were just replacing everything. The stove is still original and it works great. The microwave is original. It's a Samsung and it works really well, so we didn't change anything there. Everything in this area got updated and we're really pleased with how it all came together. So the last thing in the kitchen here is the absorption fridge. It's a 6 cubic foot and it's got the fridge space down here and the freezer space up here. All right, so then here is the bathroom. This is the thing that I really wanted in a truck camper. It was a dry bath. It was actually a pretty big bathroom and very functional. The shower is a completely stand-up shower. You don't have to crunch down or anything. It's actually quite spacious. And then the vanity area is actually quite big too, with plenty of space to put, you know, toothbrushes and soap and whatever else you're working on in there. We did the epoxy countertop in there as well, and we replaced the sink in there, which was this little tiny like yellowing plastic thing, with a vessel sink, which really changed the whole vibe and made it look much more modern. So when we're talking about dry baths versus wet baths in campers, it basically means that the space where your toilet is the same space that your shower is in. So when you run the shower, everything in the bathroom gets wet, the floor gets wet, and you're usually in this fully enclosed fiberglass space that can get wet. So the dry bath was really important to us, and that means that the shower is separate from the space where the toilet is. So we're able to go in there, take a shower, and then step out, and somebody could go in there and not get their socks all wet using the bathroom. We just felt like this was really important to our lifestyle, and we were able to find it in a floor plan that we really liked. So now moving towards the front of the camper, we're into the cab over section where the bed is. This is our closet for all of our clothes and some drawers for clothes as well. But then up here, we also got a lot of space. So this is a full queen size bed, and then it's able to kind of spill out over onto these cushioned cabinet doors. We have these cabinets on the sides that are very deep, and we can put a lot of stuff in. We have some really big windows up here, and this whole area then becomes quite large. This is where we kind of hang out, watch TV. So it's actually a really comfortable space. In this cabinet here, in the year 2000, I think they envisioned having one of those small tube TVs in here, and that's what this space was meant for. We turned this cabinet then into our connectivity cabinet. So we work on the road full time, and we always need to be as connected as we can. So this cabinet holds our Parsec Akita antenna, which we've got strapped up to the outside wall, which has been working phenomenally. We've got our PepWave router that controls all of our different networks, as we have several to be hopping from one carrier to the other to stay connected at all times. And then we are also trialing the Starlink satellite internet as we're on the move here. This is how we stay connected on the road. So we travel with our dog Bella, and she is fortunately a little bit smaller of a dog. She weighs between 20 and 25 pounds, and so she fits very nicely with her bed underneath the dinette. That's kind of her little cubby hole. And then this camper is kind of neat. It has a small window at the bottom of the door that she's then able to go and look out of to keep tabs on what's going on. So she likes that. She likes the truck camper. And we got a nice little comfy spot for her.
It's a lot of work to build it out, but at the same time, when you build it out yourself, you learn everything about your vehicle and all the different parts and pieces. And that is a really critical thing when you really get off-road and out there yourself, because things are probably going to go wrong, and sort of being intimate with your vehicle, knowing how everything works and whatnot is definitely critical, so you can sort of solve a problem on the fly.
All right, guys, I hope that you enjoyed the tour of Tom and Caitlyn's rig. Thank you guys so much for the tour.
Of course.
You're welcome.
It's always awesome to see how other people have adapted their lives to living on the road, working on the road, but also getting out here into the backcountry. Most importantly, what you guys need to do is go check out Tom and Caitlyn's YouTube channel, which is
Mortons on the Move.
And also, if you are looking for a wealth of information about RV travel, RV life, working on the road, your website.
MortonsOnTheMove.com.
That's right. All right, guys, if you've made it this far into the video and you're new to the channel, make sure and hit the subscribe button. And if you do hit the subscribe button, make sure and hit the little bell next to that subscribe button, because that is going to notify you anytime videos like this are uploaded. Hit the like button, share it with any friends, and also leave your feedback in the comment section down below. And from here, we're gonna go find the next adventure on the road.
We definitely are.
Peace out. Keep on trucking.